Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm glad that you joined me today. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue, and I'm doing a wedding today, so that's why the different clothes. Well, welcome guys, and we talk about all kinds of things to do with the Enneagram on this channel, and today we're going to talk about how each type in their health does for others what they, in their average health or unhealth, try to do for themselves. It's a theory I've been working on, just trying to understand it. I want to throw it out there to you guys and see what kind of thoughts you have. So first of all, let me just say I'm glad that you've joined me for this video. In the description below is a link to my website, and you can find out more information. And I'd love for you to join my website. I do coaching appointments with people all the time to help them understand more about the Enneagram, more about their type, or how they can be healthy, or their relationships. That information is there on the website. Also, thank you to my patrons. I really appreciate your support, your continued support for this channel. All right, so let's talk about what each type does in health. This is something that I've noticed. It's not anything I've really read, but it's something I've noticed in working with people. I want to just throw this idea out there to you guys and see what kind of feedback I get. So what I've noticed is every type seems to, and I don't know that I have all this perfect, okay? So I work these things out in front of you guys, all right? This is a laboratory, okay? What I've noticed is it seems like every type is trying to do something for themselves. Trying to provide something for themselves, trying to attain something, you might say. And in their average health, they're just focused on getting that thing for themselves. But in health, when they are balanced between their wings and relatively stress-free, dealing with life is, functioning as it should be. You'll see that same type do their impulses and compulsions for the benefit of others. Let me give you an example, okay? And I don't know that I've got all these straight, so I'm just going to start with what I've reasoned out, and maybe you can help me clarify if your type a little bit clearer, okay? Let me start with type 7, since that's what I am. 7 wing 6, social, okay? 7s are pursuing happiness. 7s are out there trying to find whatever they think will satisfy them. Okay? 7s go against people. They're assertive types, so they go against people to find what they think will satisfy them. 7s are basically looking for happiness. Okay, you probably already know that, right? Well, an unhealthy or average health 7, it's all about, what do I have to do? What do I have to, let me go out there and go to the carnival. Let me skip work, go to the carnival, okay? Because that's where the happiness is, and that's what I want. I want excitement, I want enthusiasm, I want happiness, I want everybody laughing, I want everybody relating well to each other. So I need to get out of this place, and I need to go to that other better place, okay? So for 7s, there is better than here, all right? So I'm going to go out there to the carnival, and I'm going to pursue my own happiness. And if something is tedious or boring, or something is problematic, or there's conflict, or there's problems, well, I got to get away from that. I got to get away from that, and I got to go there where that stuff isn't, where the pain, sadness, sorrow, misery, boredom, where that stuff isn't. I'm going to go to the carnival to pursue my own happiness. That's an average or unhealthy 7. What's a healthy 7 look like? A healthy 7 goes to where the despair is and brings the carnival with them. Okay, do you see that? So an unhealthy 7 leaves the despair and goes to where the fun and the happiness is. A healthy 7 is filled with happiness, filled with joy, has made a decision that less is more, and that I can be happy no matter what, whether I get the things that I quote unquote want or not. I can be happy and I can have joy in the worst of circumstances. And then that healthy 7 brings joy with them into wherever the despair is. So think of it like this. An unhealthy 7, I've got to leave, this desperate situation and go to where the carnival is. A healthy 7 goes right into the middle of, I think the the most despair ever, like the children's hospital. They go into the children's hospital to the cancer ward, and they bring the carnival with them into that dark, scary, overwhelming place. Sevens bring joy. I think about like Patch Adams. Remember that movie where Robin Williams, a seven, wants to be a doctor, and he literally does that in the movie. So sevens, in their unhealth, are running away from anything that is, not fun, not exciting, not thrilling, and they're running toward whatever they think will make them happy. But in their health, they're working in a dish room with 3 other guys, which is, I've done that job. Believe me, I've done that job, which is kind of like, not a fun job, but they are making everybody laugh. I mean, laughing to the point of crying, the 7 can do that. They can bring joy into that desperate, dark, boring, tedious environment. Okay, so you see, that's the principle I'm working on, is the thing that you try to do for yourself in your average health, you do for others in your health. So let's go around, let's take another example, 9, okay? Let's talk about 9. 9s move away from anything that is taking away their peace, their harmony, their tranquility, and their comfort. 9s are very easygoing people that, don't ask for much. But if you start pushing on them and making them uncomfortable, you will see them move away from you. They will move away from that environment. They'll move away from that conflict and retreat away, withdraw to protect their peace and comfort and their tranquility. So in their average health, they're just trying to harmonize with other people. They're just trying to be at peace. They're just trying to find peace. They're trying to protect their own comfort. And so if there's a little bit of conflict or a little bit of tension or a little bit of disagreement, you'll see the 9 in average health move away from all of that to restore their place of harmony and peace. They just want to harmonize with everybody. They just want to, whatever I have to do to be okay with everybody and harmonize with those people. A 9 that is healthy, they will bring harmony into the midst of the conflict, into the midst of the chaos. And instead of just trying to harmonize with people, they will bring harmony to those people. In other words, instead of moving away from the conflict or the chaos, they move toward it and they tranquilize everybody. They neutralize. Instead of being tranquilized themselves in their unhealth, they bring tranquility into those chaotic, argumentative, angry situations. They help people reason out together and mitigate their problems and mediate their problems. And they harmonize and mediate the environment so that people now understand each other's perspectives. They slow down. They start to value each other more and each other's perspective. And you will just see the 9, if they're healthy and they don't run away from it, they'll move in like 9-8, the referee. They'll move in and they'll referee those problems, and they'll say, all right, guys, it looks like, we got a disagreement here, and I think essentially, you guys might be saying the same thing. Bob, you're saying that, green is better than red, and Mary, you're saying that red is better than green, but really, guys, what is it all about? And you'll see that 9 move in and just bring some peace into the midst of all that conflict, but not an unhealthy 9. An unhealthy 9 will run away from that conflict to restore their own personal peace. Okay, let's take a 6. Well, we could do this all the way around. And I think I'm really right about the 7. I think I'm really right about the 9. Let's try 4, okay? A 4 wants to belong. They want to fit in. They want to be understood. They want to be accepted. They want to be seen for who they are. They want to be appreciated. They want to feel like they have worth and value. They want to feel like that they belong to the group and that they're accepted for who they are. And if they don't feel that way, if they feel like they're misunderstood, if they feel like they don't belong, if they feel like people are looking down on them or anything, they will move away from that. Whoever they feel like is causing that sense of not belonging or not being true to themselves or not being authentic to themselves. All right. So a healthy 4 makes other people feel that they are being understood. An unhealthy 4 just wants to be understood and wants to feel like they belong and that they're appreciated and they're valued. A healthy 4 makes other people feel like they belong and that they are understood and that they are heard and they are seen. I think a 2 wants to feel loved, wants to feel appreciated, wants to feel needed. And in their unhealth, they can sometimes create these relationships where people, might feel obligated to them, and they want to feel like they're needed and valued and that they are pleasing. But a 2, when they're healthy, when they're centered in who they are and their value, what do? They make you feel loved. You feel cared for. You feel needed and appreciated. In other words, instead of trying to get love from others, they're just pouring it out. They're just pouring it out in a big way that makes people feel like they are loved and cared for and that they are taken care of. Ones want to order their environment. They want to believe that they are good. They want to believe that they are right, that they are responsible, that they are people that will do their duty. I think ones, when they're healthy, they are going to help others order their worlds. They're going to, instead of just ordering people around and passing out the rules and making sure people follow all the rules, they're going to help people be inspired to have self-control. Instead of trying to order them and dictate to them or preach to them, they're going to get people to order their own worlds and structure their own worlds and inspire them to be better, inspire others to be more responsible. 8s want to be powerful. 8s want to be strong. 8s want to be anything that feels vulnerable, they're going to try to dismiss. They're going to focus their attention on what they can do, not what they can't do, on what they can accomplish, what can be done. And so 8s want to feel big and strong and powerful, but what do 8s do when they're healthy? They make you feel big and strong and healthy. They empower us. They come alongside us and they challenge us and encourage us to face the challenges that are in our life. And instead of just wanting to be powerful themselves, they want to empower others. They want others to own their own power and their own strength. 3s, they want to achieve. 3s want to win. They want to accomplish. They want to dominate. They want to set goals, accomplish those goals, and then be applauded for what they've accomplished and find their value in others' perception of them. When 3s are healthy, they want you to accomplish. They want others to achieve. They inspire others to accomplish their goals. They rally around a team and cheerlead and motivate and encourage that whole team to succeed and to achieve their goals. They inspire us and motivate us and encourage and equip us to believe more, to try for more, and to accomplish more. But in their unhealth, they're just focused on how they can get ahead. They're just focused on what they need to do to get around us in order to get to the top themselves. But the healthy 3 wants to influence people and move people up the ladder and not just get to the top of the ladder themselves. They want to bring the rest of the team to the top of the ladder. 6s want safety and security. 6s want to feel safe. They want to feel like they're connected with people and those people are going to be there to support them. They want to be supported. They want their friends to be loyal to them. They want to follow the rules and the guidelines so that they can mitigate any kind of danger or threats that might be coming. So they want to plan and they want to prepare and they want to make sure that they've checked all the boxes so that whenever something bad happens, they're going to be safe. They want to feel safe. So sixes will do whatever it takes by making relationships, by following guidelines and procedures, by planning and preparing to push away any threats that might, or to be prepared for any threats that might come against them. But I think sixes in their health, they make us feel secure. They make us feel like we're safe. They help us solve our problems. Unhealthy sixes, they are overwhelmed with problems, and they produce problems. Anxiety in them produces problems. Well, what if this happens? And what if that happens? And worst case scenario and devil's advocate. But when they're healthy and they've found that peace of the 9, now they come into those chaotic situations where there is fear. Think like the EMT, who pulls up in the ambulance in the midst of all that crisis and keeps a cool head and doesn't get overwhelmed and faces their fears, and then begins moving people and instructing people and guiding people towards safety. Rather than just running away from the fear, running away from whatever they think is causing the fear, and protecting their own security, they move in toward the threat, and they face the threat and get us to face the threat and help us prepare and help us plan and help us remain safe. They take control of the situation and solve the problem and move us toward safety, move the team toward safety, move the victim toward safety and security. They provide the very thing that they're looking for. And then what we have left? 5. 5s want to maintain boundaries from people. They don't want to be intruded on. They want to retain what's theirs. They want to understand the way the world works, or at least some part of the world. And they may be stingy with that information. They may not necessarily share all of that. They want you to know, maybe they're over-focused in their unhealth on they wanting you to know that they have answers. And so they may broadcast their knowledge when it's unrequired. They may, step into conversations that aren't their own and correct what people are saying with what they believe to be the true facts. And so they might go after information, seek that information, hold on to it, and then sometimes pour it out when it's not necessary, pour it out when it's not needed. I think 5s that are healthy, and correct me if I'm wrong, okay? I'm just trying to understand this. I think 5s, when they're healthy, they inspire us toward information. They inspire us, they provoke us to search out for information for ourselves. They provoke us and challenge us. And maybe a little bit of iconoclast here, pulling the foundations out from under us. They may challenge what we believe we know and then inspire us to go seek more answers. And think like a healthy professor. An unhealthy professor gets up and blah, blah, blah. I know all this information and you guys don't. You're all going to fail the class because I'm smarter than you. See that unhealth is, I need you to know that I'm smart. You guys are dumb. And I'm the one that studied all this information, and none of you guys are even going to pass this class because none of you could be quite as smart as I am. I've had professors like that. You probably have too. I think that's probably like the characteristic of an unhealthy 5 is, I know all this information and I know all these facts, and there's no way any of you guys are going to know as much as I do. Blah. But a healthy professor, what? Inspires you to want to know for yourself. They ask the important questions. They move you in a direction that challenges you and challenges your assumptions and challenges what you believe, so that you want to move toward answers, so that you want to seek out information for yourself. And I think a healthy 5, might just do that. So it's just something that I've noticed. Again, I haven't read any of this anywhere. It's just something I've noticed in working with people, is that the healthier you are, the more you tend to bring the very thing you're searching for. You bring it. Nines bring peace and comfort and harmony to chaos. Ones bring order and structure into an unordered and unstructured environment. Just instead of just seeking order, like a one might just want everything on their desk, to just, they might be a little OCD about stuff. They just want everything, to look right and feel right and be right. Instead of just trying to order their own lives, they come into an environment and they order and structure it so people can thrive. They go into chaos and they straighten it out. They straighten it out so that people can function. Twos, instead of searching for love and searching for their value and trying to get people to need them and to reciprocate that, they just pour out all that love and that care and that compassion to people with no expectation of what they're getting back, of whether they're being appreciated. Threes, instead of wanting to win and achieve and look great, they're helping the team win. They're helping you, inspiring you and motivating you and encouraging you. And fours, instead of do I belong and am I understood, they're sitting there listening to people pour out their hearts and making them feel like they are understood. Like counselors, they're making them feel understood, making them feel like they belong to a group, like that they're included. Instead of just feeling excluded, they're now the ones that are making people feel included. It's fascinating stuff. This Enneagram thing is just fascinating stuff, and I just continue to be astounded at how much it shows us. So I hope that's helpful to you guys. If you don't agree with it, that's fine. At least it inspires you to think in a different way maybe than you've thought about the Enneagram. And if that's all it accomplishes, then I'm happy with that. But I'm going to keep working on this theory. I'm going to keep working on this. And all right, I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day, and thanks for joining me.